First and foremost, I want to start this video off by saying, yes, you can still edit draft classes in Madden. You can still create your own draft classes by editing the players in the draft class, exporting and then importing into other franchise, uploading to the download center, all of that. You can still do that. But I made some videos last year trying to highlight this topic. And my hopes were that those videos would take off, not for the benefit of my channel, but for the benefit of the game and the experience of all the users that play Madden out there. And that video was breaking down how broken Madden's draft editor or whole draft process was and still is. So last year, the very first video I made about how broken the draft editor was, or the exporting and importing feature, but it got worse after that. It got far worse after that. So originally I was showing how when you edited players in the draft class, like say for instance, offensive linemen, this didn't affect skill position players. It only affected players who had large builds like offensive linemen and defensive linemen, defensive tackles specifically, and so on and so forth. If you were editing those guys and say the player that was generated was 6'4", 315 pounds, and he had a offensive lineman's build, if you change his pounds by 1, it would drop him down to a linebacker's build. And that shouldn't be a thing. You can't edit the stomach, you can't edit the legs or anything of that. Now in Madden, all you can edit is the height and weight. So when this happens, there's no workaround to fix that, to put them back to the build type, should I say, that they were at before. But when I posted that video and then I posted the clips, the shorts all over TikTok and Instagram and everything, they got a few views, but they didn't get a lot. They didn't take off. And again, my purpose for posting them was so that they could take off, so it can draw attention to this, so it can be corrected. What ended up happening in later patches down the line, they made it even worse, to the point where not only did it do that, but when you exported the draft class and imported it into another franchise, now those offensive linemen and those defensive linemen, not only were their builds already messed up, but now they have wide receiver builds or small tight ends builds. And I posted another video about that, drawing attention to that. But that didn't take off like the first video did. And the first video didn't even really take off like that. So I just left it alone in hopes that maybe they would correct this on their own. And I'm here to tell you that they did not correct this on their own. If anything, they left it alone, and it's just as bad, if not worse, than it was before. And in my opinion, it makes the feature not even usable. It makes creating your own draft classes pointless. Because why would I create my draft class so I can use in another franchise when offensive linemen are going to be running around? Everybody on the field is going to be the same size and build type. Why? The only time this isn't an issue is if the franchise you're creating this draft class in, then that won't be a thing. It's only a thing when you import it into a new draft class. Once you export it out, for some reason, something happens to the file. And when you import it into another franchise, that's when all of those players' builds are completely messed up. And again, this is something that after a patch started happening last Madden. And here we are another Madden later, and this issue hasn't been corrected. So if you don't understand or get what I'm talking about, I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate for you right now how messed up this is and why it makes using this feature impossible. Unless you're creating your own draft class in your own franchise you don't plan on divvying away from. That's the only franchise you plan on playing with. Other than that, you can't import draft classes into other franchises because then those players will come out looking just like how I'm about to show you. So we're going to go into prospects, okay? So this is a auto-generated draft class right here, all right? So I'm going to go into this draft class. We're going to just click edit just so I can show you. So we're going to go, well, there's a defensive tackle right there. So I'll show you. So here's a defensive tackle, Marshall Walters. You see he has a defensive tackle's build. That's how the average defensive tackle looks, right? All right. So we'll back out. We won't save those changes. Now we'll go to Elijah Polk. He's an offensive lineman, left tackle. Let's take a look at him. He has an offensive lineman's build. Now, I want you to burn this into your memory. Remember this. Polk and Walters. You see their build? You got it? Good. Discard changes. Now we're going to exit. And I'm going to export this auto-generated draft class. Notice I didn't change a thing. I didn't edit anybody. I didn't save anything. I'm simply going to export this draft class that EA automatically generated for me. I'm going to export it. We'll just name this 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. So got it. Copy, copy. All right. So we're going to back out. Now we're going to go back into it. And we're going to go back in there. But this time I'm going to import local file. I'm going to import that file 1, 2, 3, 4, which is the exact same draft class as the one that's already in here. So we're going to take that. We're going to import it. Now watch this. Now remember Marshall Walters, that defensive tackle that had a defensive tackle's build? We're going to go ahead and go into edit draft class and we're going to take a look and see if he still looks like a defensive tackle. Well, would you look at this? Looks nothing like a defensive tackle. Like I said, the feature is not usable. Let's go to Elijah Polk. 6'5", 311-pound left tackle, offensive lineman. Y'all remember how he looked? Think he still looks the same? Nope. Broken. Inexcusable that this continues to be a thing. Of all the good things that EA has added to Madden this year, the fact that this is still an issue and still hasn't been corrected is a problem. Because what is the purpose of having the feature of editing your own draft classes, creating your own draft classes, saving the file to your hard drive, screw uploading it to the download center, screw putting it out there for everybody to be able to download? Let's talk about just exporting to your own hard drive and importing into another franchise. This is going to be the outcome of all offensive and defensive linemen. It's disgusting. Who wants to play a game where everybody on the field is the exact same size? And we want to talk about realism and immersion? This is the furthest thing from it. So they're, in a sense, forcing you to have to use auto-generated draft classes, which is trash. We already don't have the ability to export a draft class from College Football 25 to import into Madden. No. We don't have that. At least we have the ability to edit and create our own draft classes, right? But no, now we can't even do that, because if we edit, export, and import our own draft classes, then this is the outcome that we'll get. This is disgusting. And I'll post this video again this year for Madden 26. And maybe, just maybe, it'll pick up enough steam for everybody to send to EA, tag EA in, and draw attention to, until this gets corrected and until this gets fixed. Because right now, I was just in the process of getting ready to start working on my draft classes. So by the time our league starts, our online league, I'll have at least 2, maybe 3 draft classes ready. But no, I can't do that because I have to wait till our actual online league starts so I can edit the classes during our league so we don't suffer this fate. So that's what this video is about. When I put in the title and say no draft classes in Madden 26, that's not saying you don't have the ability to edit or create your own draft class. That's not saying you don't have the ability to export and import those classes into another league. That's not saying you don't have the ability to post it for other people to download. No, you do have that ability, but what's the purpose? The title is simply me saying I won't be uploading my draft classes this year. My draft classes will be created for our online league and our online league only, unless this feature gets fixed by EA. And I highly doubt that it does. I highly doubt that it does. So going forward, to those that have appreciated my draft classes in the past and were probably waiting on my draft classes for this year, I apologize, but my draft classes won't be available for people to download because there's no purpose in me putting them out there for others to use when this is going to be the outcome, when my class is going to be completely ruined. Now, if you feel like you can look past that and you don't mind having offensive linemen with this build or defensive tackles with this build, then sure, you let me know and I'll put it out there for you to be able to download. But as of this present moment, I don't have any intention on creating my draft classes to upload into the download center because there's no purpose in it. Y'all let me know y'all thoughts and feedback in the comment section. And please, everybody, if you seeing this video for the first time, please share, like, comment a ton. Spread the word, because I tried to do this last year so they could fix this problem and it just didn't pick up enough steam. So I'm trying again this year. I will post clip after clip after clip until the right clip takes off, but it takes everybody else to help boost this up so the attention is garnered so that this problem can get fixed. If they fix it, I doubt that it happens because EA is just, that's a story for another day. But again, if you're here for the first time or you're returning and you haven't liked or subscribed already, please do so. Click that notification tab so you can stay up to speed with more sports gaming content, whether it be Madden, college football, 2K, MLB The Show, you name it, we'll have it here. Again, I appreciate you all for tuning in. That's been my time. Till next time.